Hi, I'm Sailor Eric, and today I'll be delivering my Pearson 424 catch back to the yacht yard for winter storage. The wind forecast is a pretty significant wind today, between 15 and 25 knots, coming from the direction we will be going. So it's likely we'll have to run the engine and go directly into the wind and waves. We are going to be de-rigging the boat, meaning we're going to take off all the sails, so you'll get to see that in action, taking off the sails on a Pearson 424 catch. For my current subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Your support means a lot, and I promise to be bringing you along on lots of fun sailing adventures moving forward. Our first leg was to get to the neighboring Burnham harbor, so we could get some diesel fuel, pump out and flush the holding tank, and set ourselves up for a 2-hour trip in those wavy conditions. The conditions in the harbor had been challenging because there is little protection in Monroe Harbor from a southeast wind. The water taxi, Monroe Tender, picked us up on a protected dock for safety purposes as opposed to their normal pickup location, which was exposed to the waves. Once we embarked on Silverheels, we did the bare minimum to get her ready and cast off. The idea was to seek refuge in Burnham Harbor to take off sailbags and set up a jack line for safety purposes. So when we embarked on Silverheels, we all stayed in the cockpit. As you can see, the frequency of the waves on Lake Michigan is high, and I describe these as 4 to 5 foot wave heights, which were exacerbated by our being so close to the land. The waves were actually reflecting from the Chicago lakefront, creating a washing machine motion this close to land. After obtaining refuge and gathering ourselves for the second and more significant leg, we were in good spirits and ready. We would proceed under engine power the remaining 10 miles to the southeast to obtain access to the Calumet River. The animation makes this particular delivery look a lot smoother and easier than it actually was. But I had 4 very experienced crew members with me, and we made the best of the situation and enjoyed ourselves. There are always mixed emotions about delivering a sailboat for the winter. It represents a door closing. The camaraderie that was forged over the course of the summer would be paused over the winter. But certainly, I did feel the warmth and loyalty of these 4 who immediately volunteered to help with the delivery when offered the opportunity 2 weeks prior. It's nice to have friends like that. I did make a decision to go under engine power in these conditions for the following reasons. Firstly, the shorter distance covered as opposed to sailing would likely result in a quicker trip. You can see that it would be approximately 10 miles to motor versus 15 plus to sail. The thing I didn't take into account is the speed of the sailboat under sail and sailing obliquely to the wind would more likely have been 6 to 7 knots over ground, as opposed to the slow 3 to 4 knots over ground we were making pounding directly into the waves under engine power. The second reason was it was just safer for the crew, less risk of someone losing their footing, falling overboard, or otherwise hurting themselves. During the delivery, we were treated to beautiful views of the Griffith Museum of Science and Industry and the 68th Street Crib. But before you knew it, we were approaching the seawall protecting the mouth of the Calumet River. We had expected that as we proceeded south, the waves and the effect on our speed would decrease. During the last 45 minutes to an hour of delivery, we were making closer to 5 knots or more speed over ground. We began preparing the sailboat for docking on the port side. Even in this protected harbor, you could see we were still subject to some wind and waves. The traverse from the harbor basin into the river made for a much flatter ride, and we could see the 92nd Street Bridge in front of us. We were not the only sailboat to deliver in these conditions on this particular day, but it was a low boat traffic day for a Saturday in October, given these conditions. As we approached the dock, a member of the Crowley's Yacht Yard staff directed us in and was available to take in the dock lines. My approach to the dock had left the stern a bit further away from the dock than the remainder of the boat, so the stern line was the first line thrown across. Meanwhile, my crew amidships was able to secure the bow and spring lines. I'm going to spend a little time talking you through taking down the sails, because this is something I would have liked to have had available on YouTube during my first year owning a sailboat. Taking down the sails is important to do expediently because it is necessary for the sailboat to be unstepped. In other words, for the mast to come off, which will happen so that Silver Heels can go into a warehouse for the winter. When taking off the sails of a Bermuda-rigged sloop, such as most recreational sailboats that are out there, the three main attachment points to be aware of are going to be the head, the tack, and the clew. And normally a shackle or some other threaded pin, like a bolt, is going to be holding the head, the tack, and the clew to the attachment point, whether it be a halyard or a piece of hardware on the mast or a piece of hardware on the boom. So having a pair of pliers to potentially facilitate unscrewing these threaded pins is going to be useful. Again, a clew, a tack, a head, these are the main attachment points. In addition, the sails can be threaded into a track, right? So you're going to have to be mindful of, you may have to unthread the sail out of the track in order to take it off. That's going to be true for a lot of foresails or jibs, which are normally roller furling, right? So these jibs will have to be unrolled from the furler and then slid out of the tracks in order to be taken off. So that is the tack, right, of the mizzen sail. We're taking the tack off. The clew of this mizzen is attached to an outhaul, which slides on a track to facilitate tensioning or untensioning that mizzen at the base. So Anatoly just took the clew off. Excellent. And you're going to help Anatoly ultimately get that sail off of the top of that hood. So he's just taking those sliders out of the track at the gate. Plastic sail slugs or sliders are attached to a sail with webbing. They are sewn on. These slugs are pulled out of the track through a gate. So they're going to take battens out and they're going to flake that sail and then put it away. Yep, 4 battens. So you're going to find the base. Yep. And you're just going to flake to the base. That's great. Notice they are flaking the sail toward the track side where the slugs are. This is to mimic as if the sail was being lowered and just falling into place to be stored on the boom. It's facilitating the muscle memory of the sail. So Pat is taking off a piece of line that is holding the clew onto the boom. Anatoly is taking off the attachment points of the reefing lines. And then we will just gather those reefing lines and coil them into the cod cutter. Anatoly is working on the tack point of the mainsail. Pat is working on the outhaul of the mainsail. And he's going to release that so we can unhook the clew. There, the tack just came off. We see that. All right. Yep.
Topping lift left on the sail or on the boom?
The topping lift stays on the boom. So that is the shackle that attaches the clew to the outhaul. Okay, so now that this is off, great. Okay, so he's loosening the tension of the lazy jacks. We are gonna take the knots out at the base for the lazy jacks so we can just ultimately take that mast off, or the main sail off. Okay, fine. Yep, just bring it down, just on the deck. And then just adjust the flaking in place and then fold it onto itself, right? Pat, you're gonna fold your side to Corey when we have it flaked as nice as we can have it. Pat made a comment that we want to take the battens out of the sail. He's correct about that. Anatoly, when you're done, can you come on this side of Pat and collect these battens? They're working on pulling the battens out. Three, there's four. Four battens coming out of the mainsail. Okay, now we're flaking this mainsail.
I can't go any further.
Okay, we're flaking that main up pretty good. As before, the mainsail gets flaked toward the track side to mimic as if the sail was being lowered to facilitate the sail's muscle memory under storage. Anatoly's job is done over there. That's good. And yeah, there you are. That looks pretty good. All right, now we're going to fold that onto itself. Nothing? Oh yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, but
Is that the last sail bag, or is there another one down there?
it's not bad. I mean, I was only looking for it.
All right. Antoli's over here. So he is going to basically unfurl the jib in place, and then these guys will collect it and start lowering that winch. Yeah, first it's got to come
All
out.
the way out, and then we'll start it.
Okay, so that's what's happening now. Anatoly is going to take the sail out. We're basically unrolling that furler because the sail is furled in. So we are going to pull the sail out so that we can then lower the sail. Anatoly's gathering the sail. Here it comes. So it's going to the other side.
Ready, Corey? Okay. Coming down.
Good. This is good, guys. This is going to save us a lot of time as opposed to taking it off and then redoing this all up there.
Ready? Yep. Okay, coming down.
You can see how the jib or foresail has to be methodically lowered down the track of the roller. So Corey is facilitating that as we are flaking the sail in place.
Okay. All right, hold on one second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the shackle off. You leave the jib line on? Come off.
It's coming off.
Okay.
Tack's off over here.
This is the thread
The head is just coming down.
in the beaver.
Sheet's getting coiled over there. And now we're detaching the head from the furling attachment point. Okay. We ended up reflaking and rolling up the foresail on the dock. But I want to show you some additional work done to get the mast ready for unstepping. Okay, Anatoly is now detaching this table. We gotta disassemble it and take it off of that mast so the mast can be stepped. This table is now off, and we are going to disconnect wires at the base of the mast so the mast can be pulled. All those wires down there have to be disconnected so the mast can be pulled up. It's a fun project, getting things done. Here we are at the end of a long delivery day, taking the Chicago Metro line from Crowley's Yacht Yard back to downtown Chicago. I sure do appreciate the Chicago sailing community and want to thank my crew from that day for assisting in delivering Silverheels and helping getting her ready for the winter storage. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button now and consider subscribing to this new sailing channel.